When we last left off, Palpatine had awoken on the beach in Act 1 and gathered his strength before searching for a cure. Sheev is disturbed shortly after awakening when he realizes that his connection to the Force is not as strong as it once was. Sheev panics inwardly, but makes a conscious effort to show no external signs of weakness. He must find a cure for the parasite regardless of his connection with the Force, or he will surely die. As he scours the landscape looking for anything that might indicate what planet he's on, he senses a disturbed and desperate presence on the other end of the shore. Upon investigating, he finds that the disturbance is coming from the same woman that he had left behind on the Nautiloid. Rather than risk retaliation from the woman in his weakened state, Sheev moves on and leaves her to pummel the wooden door while he continues his search for answers. He comes across more intellect devourers in the ruins of the Nautiloid and opts to jump up the cliff to avoid combat. Upon reaching the top of the cliff, Palpatine sees an immense energy surge to his left and investigates it to see if it will be of any use. He tries using the Force to absorb some of the energy and regain his strength, but he only injures himself in the process. As Sheev prepares to walk away, a hand shoots out of the unstable rune and a voice follows with it asking for help. Making one more attempt to use the Force on the rune, Palpatine is able to calm it enough to pull Gale through to the other side. After Gale introduces himself as a fellow detainee aboard the Nautiloid, he admits to not knowing of a way to heal the deadly parasite. Sheev is disappointed by this, but he can sense immense power and ambition in Gale. The Wizard of Waterdeep will indeed make a powerful ally for the trials ahead. The duo moves along in search of a healer when Sheev begins to sense Lae'zel's presence nearby, along with two humanoids who both harbor hostile feelings towards her. He opts to approach from the front so as not to startle the man or woman, and after receiving Lae'zel's psychic message, Palpatine uses the Force to manipulate the minds of the tieflings and convince them to leave. Once Lae'zel is free, she tells Palpatine of a Githyanki creche where the trio can be cleansed of the parasite, but in order to do so, they must track down the tiefling Zoru and interrogate him. Sheev obviously has no moral qualms about torture in order to acquire information, so he agrees to this, and the quest to find Zoru begins. Eventually, the group comes upon a commotion outside of the Druid's Grove and are pulled into a fight. As Will makes his dramatic appearance onto the battlefield, Palpatine senses a dark power within him, but this power is subdued by an almost endless amount of light. Palpatine determines in this moment that if Will survives the fight, he will not be a useful ally, and it will be better to either avoid him or kill him if the need arises. Sheev is badly poisoned and shot in the beginning, but he gets his revenge despite his weakened state. As the fight rages on, it becomes clear to Palpatine that this planet and the beasts that inhabit it are unlike anything that he has seen before. The way that beings on this world use the Force is also very foreign. He begins to question whether or not he is in a different galaxy or a different universe entirely. After the battle is finished, the group comes across Eridan and Zevlor bickering. Sheev uses his Force abilities again, this time to manipulate Zevlor as a means of diffusing the situation. After learning about Halsin being left behind at the Goblin camp and the Druid ritual to remove all outsiders from the Grove, Palpatine agrees to talk to Korga under the false pretense of reaching a deal to let the Tieflings stay. Doing this will allow Palpatine to penetrate the innermost sanctum of the Grove and learn the secrets of the Druids. Shadowheart is found lying in wait on the way to Korga, but Sheev does not ask her to join the party due to her unwillingness to discuss the artifact she is holding. After bypassing the guards, Palpatine is allowed in to see Korga. Sheev opts to remain silent rather than step in on behalf of Arabella, which leads her to be bitten by Tila and die. Palpatine praises Korga's choice and then agrees to escort the tieflings out of the grove, while in truth having no intention of actually doing so. After talking to Nettie, Sheev lies and promises to drink the wyvern poison if he feels any symptoms from the tadpole. Nettie then shares that Halsin is being held in the old temple of Selûne with a large number of other tadpoled individuals. On his way up the stairs, Palpatine makes sure to notify Arabella's parents of her death in order to break them. He delights when he senses the thirst for revenge building up within Chimera, but he is careful to not show it outwardly. The party comes across Zoru, and Palpatine allows Lae'zel to intimidate the poor tiefling into giving away the location of the Gith. He also encourages Arca to give in to her hatred and kill Saza, in true Sith fashion, of course. Before leaving the Grove, Palpatine and his allies stop by and talk to Zevlor. Palpatine deceives Zevlor and says he will deal with the Goblin leadership before heading out to the Selûnite temple. On the way, the party comes across two absolute cultists and a dying man. After using the power of the parasite to learn all the information he can on the Absolute, Sheev sends the cultists to fight the Owlbear on their own. He He resists the allure of absorbing Edwin's parasite and moves on toward the Selûnite temple. Rather than walking into an obvious trap marked by dead bodies lying everywhere, the trio decides to sneak into the village another way. After using the Force to manipulate the lesser minds of the goblins, Palpatine and his allies are able to make their way further into goblin territory before being stopped again by a different batch of goblin guards. One of the goblins demands that Sheev wear their war colors, and he of course refuses such an indignity. Combat ensues, and Palpatine's lack of energy puts him in danger many times throughout the fight, but Lae'zel and Gale make up the difference and the party comes out on top. The group rests before pushing further into the goblin hideout, when suddenly they are all knocked to the ground by a powerful voice, which is trying to gain dominion over their minds. All hope seems lost when the woman Sheev abandoned on the Nautiloid appears out of nowhere and dispels the voice with the artifact she holds in her hand. The woman identifies herself as Shadowheart and claims she is on a mission to keep the artifact safe. Sheev interrogates her about the artifact but ultimately relents when he sees that she will not divulge the information he wants. He decides not to kill her, believing her to be useful on the journey ahead. Shadowheart joins the party and they all continue on their search for a cure together. Thank you for watching the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.